Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is the first video I will do in English. I hope you understand my English and I hope not to make too many mistakes. This is the final result of my junk journal, Lady Vagabond. I used different papers and also digital prints. And here I show you my cover. I think it is a very big album. It wasn't planned like this, but finally I put many pages inside and I am lucky that I could finish my album yet. On the cover I used many molds. Here is one mold with a frame from Prima Marketing, and I used soft clay, and for these gears in the front and the bottom I used a clear resin and I colored it in black gesso. I used a black gesso spray, and afterwards I put wax on it. These are waxes from pen art in gold, in copper, in pink, and also in blue. And there's also a chameleon one, a very nice one. I showed the color in my last videos, and I used it on the side of the book. Yes, here are the gears and the clock. I love the colors and also the little books on the bottom. And on the right side is the closure. Now it opens very fast. It wasn't planned. It is a magnet system. And here are my paper pearls. I learned this technique a few weeks ago, and I love doing these paper pearls. You use paper stripes, roll them together and glue them. I sealed the paper pearls with glue, and after it is dried I can put acrylic paint or also waxes on. Yes, and I used a yellow, not a yellow, a blue ribbon. And I think that the color of the ribbon also fits to the frame. I used also a blue, a turquoise one, and I think it is a good contrast to the dark background. Yes, here is my pen, and I bought the main pen from an online shop in Germany, and you can put the pearls on a little metal thing inside. Here I show you. I decide to put these pearls on the metal, and now you can twist the thing on the cap on the metal, and now the pen is finished. And you can put the pen into the paper roll, the paper pearl, and I think it looks very interesting in front of my cover. Here's the closure. I used magnets on both sides. And first it was planned not to make this book so big and thick, and yes, it is really a problem when you have so many pages inside your album. Yeah, I have two possibilities to close my album, and this is really it was really planned from the beginning. You can easily open your album with the magnets, and now I show you the second possibility. perhaps when you want to transport your book, and you can put the breads through both holes. And I made the holes from the beginning so that I could use the breads through them. And I think that is a good solution for this album. Now you can see that it holds the things really strong together. For my first page, I used lace, and I put 2 stripes of lace together. I glued them together with liquid glue, and I used for it a brush and put the liquid glue on both sides. And afterwards I glued with liquid glue again the left, the bottom and the right side. And I made a pocket. This little pocket is very useful for my papers, and I put several papers together from Romantic Letters. It is an Etsy shop. I bought my digital prints from this Etsy shop, and I must say I love these steampunk elements. It is really beautiful. On the front I used a little paper, and all these papers are 21 centimeters and 29.7 centimeters. This one is a pocket, and in this pocket I put an ex libris. You can write your name down and show that this junk journal is yours. You can see that I use a stamp this book belongs to. Yes, and now we can see the wonderful prints. I really like the steampunk elements. And it is normal copy paper. Both sides are printed. And here's a little surprise. These little steampunk things are also made by Romantic Letters. And you can pull it out, take it out, and now you have wonderful die cuts. I fussy cut them from the paper, and I like it. Yes. And the next side is also a surprise. Here you have the paper of Lady Vagabond, and you can open this door. Here you can see behind. I cut it with a knife, this part here, and also here and here. And now you can open it, and here is the paper behind. You can look through these little holes, and you can see the gears and wonderful print. Yes, and on this page you have also a steampunk element. Here is a clock. You can put it behind this little ribbon. I don't know it. You can perhaps it is not a ribbon. You can also say it is leather, and yeah, I glued it on the paper. Yes, I think the papers are really good for steampunk elements. I put it again here inside, and the thing is, the lace is in this line, and you can open the bread easily. Here you have frames and pictures from the paper Stamperia, and here's a pocket, and I put different papers together. This page is from Romantic Letters, and here is shrinking plastic. Shrinky dings? I don't know the name for it. I have more in my book. Also this little one. The stamp was like, the size was like this. And when you shrink the plastic, you have this little one. I think it is very funny to see how small the things can be when you use your heating gun with shrinking plastic. And I put the little thing on a thread and pearls, so you can play a little bit with the pearls if you want. Yes, and when you open the pages, you have the full room of Lady Vagabond, yes. And this is cut by me, and I put little envelopes with a hard closure inside this little pocket. And here are little elements, steampunk elements. You can use it to decorate your album, or you can leave it in this little envelope. The size of this one is the same. Here is a little envelope, very cute, I think. Here are gears. Yes. Yeah, memories. But the memories doesn't want what I want. Yes, I put the memories behind the frame. Here you have also a little pocket, and you can take this page out. It is a very small, slimline page. And here is Lady Vagabond. And it seems so that she is coming from the side and want to go into this room. I like this little key. I glued it on the paper because it was broken. Oh, I was so sorry, and I didn't want to throw it away, and so I put it with glue together. Yes, and here's also a little pocket. Envelope, and I put it in this little pocket. Yes. Here are many books from Lady Vagabond, and here you can put a tag behind. These steampunk elements are from Romantic Letters, and this picture is a stamp from indigo blue, and I put a little bit of glue on the glasses, so it looks a little bit like realistic glass. I don't know if you can really see it through the camera, but I hope so. And the paper I made on my own with stencils and paint, and yes, it was a lot of fun to make these things. Yes, here is also a little envelope and a little paper here inside. You can take it out. Yes. Here are also the papers from Romantic Letters. And I think these are dies from Craft Emotions. I love these little elements, and I use the die very often for steampunk things. You can open the pages like this. And here you have paper elements from I think Little Paper Boutique. It is also an Etsy shop. I bought the paper from there. I don't earn any money off them. I only will tell you how I print it, and some things are made by me, and some are bought in the Etsy shop or made by Stamperia, you know, yes. This frame was made by Stamperia. I cut it out, fussy cut it, and put it on my little paper stripes and glued it on the paper. Yes, here's a map. And I use the map as a pocket. Here's also a paper by Little Paper Boutique, and here is the back side of the envelope. I glued the envelope on this page. Yes, that was it. And on the other side I have this page to open like this. It is a little bit like a Z-fold card. I only fold the right side in the middle, and now you can open it like this. Now you can see many bicycles, and you have a flap, and you can open it like this, and underneath you have a little bit of a paper stripes of these papers from Little Paper Boutique, and on the bottom I have also the same paper. Yes, I used a little bit of my scraps, and on the bottom there is a little pocket, and I use this pocket for my card, and with my card I close the flap so it can't open so easily, and everything is safe. And here you can see a good example of papers I used. The green one I printed with my printer. I made it on an iPad. I used Procreate and I draw the green lines, and yes, I use it very often in my journals. And on the right side is a simple yellow page, and I put papers from the Action shop. I used the maps, and here I used the papers of romantic letters, yes. And here you can see something in German. It yields with an engine for a car, and it is very interesting to see these old technical things on a page. Very funny. These papers are from a shop named Action, and I use the map. And behind are papers from romantic letters. This tag is from Stamperia, and I put a steampunk element from romantic letters on it. You can put it here inside, and if you open it, you see the back, the back side. Yes. Yeah, also the little bicycles, and a tag and a pocket. Here is a pocket I made with a map and put a tag behind. And here's the paper of the airship, and I cut it here and glued it down. And here you can open the page, and here is a pocket, and you can put the tags into the pocket. I really like the different perspectives. You can watch now the airship, and you see it from the outside. And if you open the door, or when you open the door, you can look it from the bridge and look from the inside to the outside. I hope that makes sense and you can understand what I mean. Yes, and here again I use the pocket and the flap for the closure. I really like to make my own paper, and here you can see again on the left side a page that I made, and on the right side I used Vellum again and a die from Tonic Studios. I used a stamp from Funkelkram. That is a German online shop, and I also bought my pearls and other things at Funkelkram. Yes, and here you can see the page is glued down with liquid glue, so you can't really see the glue through the vellum. I like to use shrinking plastic, and I made a little lady vagabond with a bigger stamp and colored it with alcohol markers, and now you can see the result. I think it is a little bit interesting part on this page. Yeah, and now I can turn the page and you can see behind a paper made by Stamperia, and you can open the flap and have things to write down, or you put text behind, and I glued the paper on a packaging paper so you can write things down, or you can paint or whatever you want. And on the right side is a little pocket, and behind the pocket is a map. It was a paper by Action, and here I used again, I think it is a music paper, music note paper. I don't know if this is the right expression in English. On this page I used again dies from Tonic Studios to create corners, and inside the corners I put the yellow paper. It is the same yellow paper on the right side, and I use a stamp from Indigo Blue on the page. And I think it is enough. I didn't want to color it, and it is really nice, and so I put it as it is in this page. Yes, and now you can see the stamp on the right side on the vellum. I must say that I made a little mistake because I used stays on, and my stamp really doesn't want to make a good impression. And yes, it is a junk journal, and that doesn't bother me very much. Yes, here is again my green paper, and I used again die from Tonic Studios. This one is the bigger corner, and again I used a 3D folder from Tim Holtz, and this makes really a good impression, and I think it is very useful for a steampunk album or a junk journal, and you can put a tag behind and put a little bit interest on the page, and you can still see through the vellum and can watch behind. I must really say that I like to use dies from Tonic Studios. They have really fantastic dies for memory books, and I use it again with vellum, and I put this little card inside, and here you can see on the front the man with the wings, and you can open the card, and now you have on the left side the key. It is a picture from Stamperia, and on the right side are papers from Romantic Letters, and if you open again the next page, where you have papers from a set from Action. I have to put the card carefully in the pocket because I don't want to destroy the vellum. On this page you can see Lady Vagabond reading in her book, and her cat is also nearby, and here are two things I put into this little thing inside the page. Very, very small letter can you put inside this little envelope, and between these pages is a place you can put a card inside. Yes, and here you have many, many books for Lady Vagabond. She can read a lot. A little poem. No, it is not a poem. It is a sentence by Oscar Wilde. I also have little surprises. I can put things behind the books, and here is a little surprise. I have a stamp with books, and I put it also behind the shelves. Yes, on this page I have a gramophone. With bread I put a closure on this side, and you can pull it down and open now the door, and you see the little lady and the feather behind her. On the right side you can see my handmade paper. I used many stencils and distress oxides. On the next page I used watercolor paper, and first of all I sprayed distress oxide sprays on the paper and let it dry, and used a stencil made by Stamperia and glossy gel, and on everything I put Nouveau embellishment mousse in a dark blue with a stencil made by John Next Door. And here you can see the lady. I put the photograph of a lady in this little pocket, and on the right side you see now again a handmade paper, and I used many stencils and colors and also stamps, and I really like this side. I think it is a lovely page for a junk journal. And now I think the dies, I used the dies of Craft Emotions, and I like these little die cuts, especially the little keys. On the right side is also a key with a heart, and now you can open the paper, this page, and you can see the inside. I put again a little photograph into this pocket made with vellum, and on the right side you can see now this lovely paper. Here are roses on the paper, and the paper has a very nice shiny side, and it fits perfect, I mean, to the left side. On the back side of the green paper, the page is black. I must say that I really love steel rule dies, and again I used it on this little corner, and I glued the die cut on the vellum corner. Inside the corner I put a tag. It is a ticket, and I used a ticket stamp and also another stamp from Indigo Blue on the yellow paper, and I fussy cut it and glued all things together. And I think it is now a very nice ticket. And here again is one of my little pockets, and inside are steampunk elements and gears and clocks and something like that. Yeah, I used also vellum, and this is called mirror cardstock, and behind are the suitcases. Here is a pocket, and the paper by Paper Boutique, a little paper boutique. I made a card, and here I used elements from the paper of Stamperia, and here also little die cuts. And you can put photos inside or can write something. These are little envelopes, and inside every envelope is a picture or something else. And I glued it only on this side and let it open, so you can put the things behind. Here's the lady writing at the table. And I also like these tags. Yes, and here I put tea on my paper, and I let it dry, and now it has a very interesting result. And I think I used also a stamp by La Blanche, and I very often use the second impression. You can't plan the results of the paper, but I think it looks amazing, and it is a technique, it is really nice to use. Here again is my green paper, the shiny one, and on the right side I used my own prints, and on the right flap I put papers from, yeah, I think it is a Stamperia, and from the Klimt edition, I don't know it exactly. There were only scraps left. And here is a little surprise. I really like this thing. And here you can open it. And I like also the back side. It is made by Romantic Letters, and now I will open it. Ta-da! I like it. You can put all these things out of these leather things. It is not real leather, it is paper, of course. But isn't it lovely? I like it. Oops. Yes. And you can close it like this. Very nice, I think. It is from a packaging, and I have erased a little part of the packaging. Yes, and here again I have a stencil, a background I made with stencil and distressed oxides. Here's a little paper, and this is also from a packaging. I put it on here and here with glue, and now you can put your things inside. Here's a little tag, with Vellum, and I embossed it a little bit. Here you have a picture you can open, and behind is an envelope and a tag, and I glued it only on this side, and I covered the side where I glued it on this page. So you can put a tag here behind, and you can't see how I glued all together. The paper was white, and I used stamps, and I used the second print of the stamp and put it together to a pocket, and it holds everything together. Here is something you can open, and here you have a little thing for the airship. Again, a stenciled background, and here I have something from the sea, and the little bottle, the message in the bottle by Stamperia, and here stamp. When you open it, you can see the background. Yes, acetate, and you can pull it outside, and now you can see the print. And here you have some words about friendship, and if you put it back, you will see that you can see the letters through this little bit window. And here you can also open the thing here, and here is a stamp. Here you can also put something behind, but here is now nothing. Okay, yes, next page. You can put the text outside. Here is a ticket, and here is a bread, and you can open it, and now you can open this page, and now you can see the sky behind. I put all things back, and on this page I put tag behind here, and here is Lady Vagabond looking behind the pocket. You can put the tags again in the pocket and turn the page, and here. And now you can see the lady in her room, and I think here are also things to explore. Behind the gramophone is a ticket. Now you can see it, and there are also little things behind the next pocket. And behind the curtain is also something. Here is the clock. And tags. You can buy this in an online shop and put paper inside, and I glued a little bit acetate on it, so it looks like a window, a glass. Here you have the airship again. Now is the best time. And if you pull it, you have this wonderful background behind. Hey paper, please go back. But it doesn't want to go back into this pocket. Fly. Here is a little butterfly. Yes. And here I have again a background I created on my own. And a page from the paper by Stamperia. And now I put the text away and you can see the whole page. I put a little bit glue on it and now it is a little bit shiny and sturdy. I can put the text behind and because it is sealed, you can pull out better the tags and put it back again. And here is a little bit from the paper. I put it as a pocket on this side and I cut, I fussy cut this one from the paper, from Stamperia. And here I glued a pocket on the blue paper and here is a postcard. I think the suitcases and the camera are perfect for a journey with a train and all fits together. This is a little bit shiny. I used the rest of the Nouveau embellishment mousse. I had it on my mat and I put the paper on, so it is a little bit shiny. I found the paper with an airship and I used a die from Action, and this little die has an impression like a stamp, and I put it as a pocket on the paper, and in the corners you can find a sticker. And I think it is a velvet sticker. It is very nice to touch and I like it. Here's an old bicycle. And again a tag. Here you can see a little bit of a ship. And I think these clouds are also, this cloud paper is from Action, and I used it for this page because I made a stencil with my brother's Scan and Cut, and I used it on this paper, and the big cloud and the little cloud are perfect on this side. And here I have tags, and here you can see this element is, I think it is glass inside a window, and I used a little bit glue so it is shiny. And here is the big bottle and a message in it. Here's also Vellum. You can put things here. And also on this page, here's also a little bit of a glue on the window and a little clock. A pocket and a postcard. This is a stamp, but it is a complete stamp. It is a steampunk stamp, and I glued the paper and the page together. Here's again the rose paper, but a different color, and it is shiny. On the back side it is black again, and also here I put vellum, and I use the steel wool dye to make this element a tag. And here you have Sir Vagabond. I put him on my handmade paper, and I made a pocket to put tags inside and a die cut. Here is a little bit vellum and also a tag, and my airship. Yes, I like it. And here I cut with a little punch, something like a hole. You can put now easily the card outside, and now I have the man with wings, really big. I like it. By the way, behind the wings I used a stamp from La Blanche. And this is the paper by Stamperia. And these things are petals from a die cut. I made with a die cut a flower, and these things are the waste. You normally wouldn't glue it down, but I used it on my wingman. Yes, the train on this side, and I thought the big ears are perfect on the page on this side, and I use the packaging for foil, and here you can pull, and now you have the airship, and here's also a gear, and you can push it again inside. Here's a stamp, and behind is again a pocket. I used black paper and an embossing folder. It is a really nice embossing folder, and I used wax paste from Pen Art, different colors. I think it is gold, something silver, copper, turquoise perhaps. And on this side is again the lovely rose paper and a die cut also with a rose or flower. I glued it on vellum and made a pocket and put a clock behind. Here again is a pocket, and I put a tag behind. And if you turn the page, you have the result of an embossing folder. Here I used only the gold paste, the wax paste, and a little bit from the pink rosé, I think. Yes, this one was a lot of fun. It was the same size of a page, and I cut it in stripes and glued it like pockets. And now I can put all the things you can use with the airship and I think it is a lot of fun to make something like this. I thought it is the same thing you have in an album for stamps, and I use this one for my gears. Yes, here is also a postcard, and I only glued it here, and you can fold it backwards, so you can write something here down. And I made these little papers, I cut it, and I used corner stamps, and now you have the result. You can write things down. Here's a bigger envelope, and when you open it, you have a lovely page. Here again I have my clouds. I made these clouds with my stencil, and also for this card I used stencils, and this is watercolor paper. And first of all I used distress oxide sprays, and I used glossy gel with stencil, and afterwards I put Nouveau embellishment mousse on the glossy gel and all the other things. And finally I used this die cut. I fussy cut this element from the paper and glued it on this card, and I put a few stars, gold stars, in the background. Again, a paper by Little Paper Boutique, and here I have a big die cut from the steel wool die. And here I used a stamp on a special paper. Behind is the glue. You have a sticker, and I put it here on this page. Here I used a stamp and colored all and fussy cut it and put it on this side of the page. Here I only used the paper in an embossing folder and glued it down for a pocket, and put this little card, also embossed and colored, inside the pocket. Yeah. Here you have again this little girl and this thing holds the papers together. I think it is a nice idea to put it on the paper, and now you have everything safe together. And here I have a closure with threads, and I don't want to close it now. I will open it to show you everything, and on this page I can show you how I used a paper you normally would throw away. The digital print was in the wrong direction, but I used it. I didn't want to throw it away. And I used a leftover from the Stamperia paper and fussy cut it and glued it on the page. So it looks a little bit like a train which is leaving the paper. Sometimes it is a little bit funny to use things like this, and you give a little bit interest to your page. And now you can open the paper, and you have wonderful corners, also made with die of Tonic Studios, and I used a rub-on powder, and this powder makes a really nice vintage effect. I put little text behind and the paper. Here you have also something you can put inside, and you can turn the page, because I only glued the page on this area. And here is the Vagabond. You can put things behind, you can put a tag behind or something else. And here are also the little corners. I really like these dies from Tonic Studios, especially for albums or books. They are really, really useful. This is Vellum. It was a clear vellum, but you can print on this page. It is a special vellum, you can print on it. And I use a frame in black, and now you can put tags or things behind. Yes, and here I have also a corner I made with a jelly plate, with Nouveau embellishment mousse, and with structure paste, and it was really a lot of work to do all. I had only a few leftovers, and I used really everything. Also these little corners, and I glued 2 corners in my album. One is here, and now you can see my handmade paper, and inside are leftovers from Stamperia. And if you open the pages, you have a complete old world map. And so you can put it again together and put it into this pocket. Here you have a card, again made with watercolor paper. I used distress oxide sprays, glossy gel, a stencil here and here, but here I used Nouveau embellishment mousse. Again, a little pocket and a paper inside here, and you can put it behind. I made these with scraps, and this is a stamp I used with a stays on, and here I used a stencil on the white paper. Again, this is music note paper, and here is a corner with fabric. It is a very nice sticker, nice to touch. A lot of stamps. Now I must laugh a little bit, because here you can see a typewriter, and behind is a pocket, and with this little thing I had so many problems, you can't believe it. Yes, it is a packaging paper, and I used a stays on print. I used stays on with a stamp and a stamp on the paper, and finally I want to color it with distress oxide sprays, but the spray didn't want to dry, and I took the color a little bit away with a paper towel, but still I had always the color on my fingers, and I fixed the problem with my liquid glue and put it over the stamp and the color, and now you can touch it without fear to have the print on your finger. Isn't it funny that you can have so many problems with little things, but with the main elements you have not? I can't understand it. So I put it again in the pocket, and on the right side you can see the sentence "write without fear." And I give you a solution for your problem. Here are the letters. Yes, it is a 3D print. I used an embossing folder by Tim Holtz, and normally I fussy cut the little letters and print my own words with it, but now I thought it would be a nice idea to give you the complete letters. Here you are, here are the letters. Write without fear. You can start. Next page, many lines, free space for writing. Behind the belly band I put a little telephone, and I used again glue, a liquid glue, in the circles. But I think you can't really see it through the camera. I try to move the paper, but I don't really see it. I always try to find little elements to put your interest on the paper. And now I have a little map, and I fold it together and put it behind with this little envelope behind a belly band. And the belly band is made with stamps, and when I colored it with, I think it was Distress Oxide Forest Moss, and when it was dry I fussy cut the stamp and glued it on the paper. Look in your crafting room and you can find many things you can use in an album, you can use in a junk journal, or you can combine with different papers. You must not use only one paper set. You can be creative and start things with simple things. You can use stamps and cut it out, fussy cut it, and glue it on the paper. I think you can be so creative. Do it and try it. Here again I used a stamp with stays on a packaging paper, and I colored it with Distress Oxides, and you can seal it with glue or you can seal it with varnish. You have different possibilities. I had to seal it because here I had nearly the same problem like with a little ticket. The paper behind the lady is also a packaging paper, and I used an embossing folder and colored it. Here you can see again things you could use and you would normally throw it away, but I used the paper and I colored it, and I used an embossing folder and glued it as a pocket in my album. And behind you have a wonderful place to put your papers inside, and it is now a really nice paper. And I combine different papers. This was in front of is a packaging paper, and the print is a normal copy paper print, and not a special paper, specialty paper, and you can use everything you have. On the left side here again it was a packaging, and behind is a copy paper, and I print on this copy paper the digi print from Romantic Letters. And this was also a packaging, and I used folders, embossing folders, and also stencils, colors, and I think glossy gel and a stencil from Stamperia, and I glued it like a pocket. I have problems to put things inside the pocket. Also again copy paper, and I glued it only on the left side so you can turn easily the page. It is always nice to have different papers. Also, I mean not the quality of the paper, also the length of the paper. I have long and short paper. I use a flap, and you can put things behind, and discover a stamp or something like that when you open a flap. I use very often my steel wool die, and I used it with packaging, and you can color it. This little stamp is by Indigo Blue, a balloon, and the stickers here are also the velvet stickers. Next page is interesting because you have many flaps and again pockets, and inside the pocket is a map, and behind the paper and the little girl. And I like it. You can have it now in this page and behind the pocket, and if you turn the vellum, you can see through it and you see the little girl. Again, a little ticket and a pocket. Yeah, this stamp was also in a set by Indigo Blue. And here again I used different tags, and I had on the right side now my paper pearl, and for my paper pearl I used stripes and glue and acrylic paints and wax paste, and it holds now perfectly my bookmark. I explained how I made the lace, but I can show you now a difference, because I colored my lace with Distress Oxide spray. I used Stormy Sky, and I think the color is now better for this page, because here are blue elements, and the Stormy Sky is, I think it is all right now. Now I can show you the advantage of DigiPrints. You can print it as a DIN A4 and as a DIN A5. Inside my pockets, I made pockets with a die made by Tonic Studios, and I put these little papers inside, and they have a size of DIN A5, and they were folded in the middle. And now you can see the difference between the big papers and the smaller papers. But yes, it is not a problem to use different sizes with your printer. I try to use everything I have in my craft room, and I had different sets by Stamperia and also by Action, and of course I made papers on my own. I made different videos on my channel, and you can watch how I make background papers and yeah, tags and different things. Yeah, but finally I saw these digital prints in an Etsy shop, and yeah, what can I say? I had to buy it. Yeah, and I think that was the reason, because my album is now so big and so thick. Yes, it is. But okay, it is like it is, and I think it is always nice to turn the pages and find little secrets or little pockets and tags and something like that. I like to do things like that, and I also like to watch it. Tja, and now, what do you think? It is always the same. At the end, I'm a little bit sad. Sad because it is finished. My work is finished. And also I am very, very lucky because I have this really nice album. And I'm so proud I finished it. Yeah, and I hope you can understand what I mean, because it is every day it is the same. You like to do what you do, and you like crafting. And sometimes you are not thinking about the time you spend in an album or in a card or in a project. And you enjoy the process. You like to do these things. And if it is finished, yeah, you are a little bit sad. Yeah. But in the end, I really like my project, and I like to show it now. Also, my first video in English is now finished. Yeah, I hope it was okay for you and you could understand me. If you have any questions, you can write it down in the comments, and I try to answer as soon as possible. For me, it is a great pleasure to show you my projects and give you little inspiration, and I show you tips and tricks how I fix problems or how I make some things. And yes, for me as a crafter, it is always nice to hear something about you, and I have so much fun when you give me a little feedback, and that would be really nice if you can write something in the comments. And if you want, you can like my video and subscribe, and perhaps you can find more things I will do on my channel. And I hope that you come back again and watch my videos. Bye!